then I want to start this one, and mostly because I need to have I need the notes and stuff and the layout ready to go beforehand. Mostly because funny stuff like Brian talking about his nacho incident is a great cold open.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing that out. But yeah, Brian, you all good, man? You're
Yeah,
recording and
I'm
stuff.
recording.
Sweet deal. Ah, God, this is going to be an interesting one. I got some communication from Jammer about it, and Jonesy is reviewing it for written. Jones is doing the written review of Belle here for LRM, and yeah, we're doing the podcast. So I guess welcome to Anime-Versal Reviews, the Genreverse podcast network anime review show, hence the freaking name, right? Brought to you by the great folks over at Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. Part of the LRM family. That's what the Genreverse is. It's just all of the podcast side of LRM. I'm a little slow on the transition. Sorry about that. But yeah, be sure to subscribe to the new Genreverse podcast network YouTube channel as well as the LRM channel. If you're still subscribed there, stay there for all the interviews. Follow our social media at the Genreverse on Twitter and Genreverse.com, which is for right now just lrmonline.com, but it is its own web address, and we do have podcast pages in the works. Get to it, Mike. I'm Kyle Malone at that Kyle Malone on Twitter. This is
Christine at Adorable Doom.
And over there,
Ryan.
And you got something else, not Twitter, but you do on.
I'm on YouTube. PulpMythos.
There you go. I added you to the title card, Brian, or not the title card, the end card, So at the end on YouTube, I've seen it before. Like, I used to have just these random pictures, and then like fight with YouTube. Like, where are you going to put my suggested videos and subscription button now, you jerks? And then I was like, wait. After watching LTT videos for the last two years almost, oh, they put their addresses in the corner where it fit. Oh, okay.
You're funny.
So I finally started. Well, we're not a YouTube channel.
True.
You know,
and it's like, yeah, we don't
think like that. We're thinking podcasts, audio mostly, and then thinking the written side over at LRM online, and even doing YouTube videos. We're still podcasts, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a little different, but we're here to review Belle, movie that hit Japan last year, movie that really excited all of us. Mamoru Hosoda, Jesus Christ, I'm sorry, I keep messing up his name because the placements of the U's and O's when you have a stutter and you're trying to remember vowel pronunciations. But his latest film, most of you should remember films like Boy and the Beast, Girl Leapt Through Time, Mirai, Wolf Children, Summer Wars, Digimon movie. Dude wants to be isekai like a motherfucker, doesn't he? Boy and the Beast, Isekai, Digimon's Summer Wars, and this Isekai to a degree. Sure, you can come in and out as you please, but he's definitely got a thing, mm-hmm. And dude is a very very great talent that I'm starting to feel he might be getting in his own way, like Lucas did, George Lucas with the prequels, where technology and abilities and things that he could see in his eye might become more important than things he hears in the mind, if that makes sense. You know, taking aesthetics, or in George Lucas's case, CGI set pieces in place of story. But it's regardless, there's a lot to enjoy here. From the sound of my initial reaction, you guys can kind of tell that I had some issues, but I'd like to throw it over to, who did I go to first last time?
I think it was me, so take it away.
I guess
Brian,
what was your initial reaction to Belle?
I liked it a lot. It felt it felt like something that was built for an IMAX screen.
Yes.
There are certain sequences that's like, yeah, that was built for the big screen. But I think I know what you're saying, and we'll get into it more. For me, because there's a digital world and not digital world, so I mean that's in the trailer. But the stuff outside the digital world to me was the best stuff.
Yeah.
The slower, and there were a lot of moments I wanted more of, and particularly with certain characters towards the end, and we didn't really get that. But all in all, yeah, had a blast. As far as the 2-hour runtime, it flew by.
Yeah, except for the second act for me, but
Okay.
yeah, you and I sound like we might have some of the same thoughts. Christine, what was kind of your initial reaction to finally seeing the movie in its entirety? Spoil yourself.
Normally, I don't spoil movies and TV shows for myself, but with this one, I'm like, I can't wait. So it's like I already knew it was going to happen, but there were still like a lot of pieces I didn't get. I don't feel like the movie flew by, but that was because like our TV had issues playing our thing. Like it cut out like twice. I'm like, damn it, you gotta be kidding me. And it's like right on a good spot. But yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. Mostly like you'd said, Brian, the people outside of the digital world, and then also like the music and just the look of the digital world. Like that was something I thought was really cool. They didn't put enough in it for me, as far as like stuff making sense. There's like a few things in the digital world where it's like, okay, but yeah, but yes, I definitely enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. So
nice. So
your turn.
I kind of already gave my initial reaction there at the beginning.
Well, I didn't know if you wanted to elaborate.
We'll elaborate as we go through things. But what I will kind of do now is go over our kind of like the gist of the movies. So when you first see the trailer, you're just thinking, okay, it's Summer Wars, Ready Player One again, with a digital world you can go in and out of, have an avatar and do fantastical things in. And it's later on that we find out that it's also supposed to, borrow from the Beauty and the Beast elements, right?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what I went in prepared for, was to see a modern spin with Japanese influences on Beauty and the Beast, which that's kind of in there, but before they're just like, quick, shove Disney's Beauty and the Beast into Act 2 really, really quick with just the ballroom being the big set piece for it, and then it goes to what's admittedly the better part of the story, stuff outside of the world, and focuses on that a bit more. But you've got the lead character, Suzu, who lost her mother when she was young. She's got a childhood friend, Shinobu, and she's lost her. She had a love for music with her mom and her community. They live in a smaller community that has an abandoned school that is used as a community center. Christine and I thought we recognized the school. I'm sure there's many of them, but it was very similar to one we've seen some of the Japanese YouTubers that we follow, or people living in Japan YouTubers that we follow. Most of them are Canadian, British, a couple Aussies, but
yeah.
She's lost her kind of. They say like the ability to sing, but it's a trauma issue. So there's mental as well as physical, from constant crying and things like that. It's complicated. She's got a friend. She's kind of a plain Jane, or that's kind of like what they make her out to be. There's a girl named Ruka that's got is more, aesthetically pleasing to the average male in this world. She's seen as the popular girl, the class leader. She does music and stuff, and they kind of set her up to be potentially a rival later on, but it doesn't go that route, which is fine. And how life really is, where you think about your peers, you've got preconceived notions, but she gets into the universe of you, the digital world, to basically do what everyone does when they dream of isekais and Ready Player One and all that shit, is be someone else or be your old self, your true self without fear. The beast comes in as a dragon avatar that's big into the martial arts stuff. They try to build a backstory in there, but it gets complicated until you find out that he's really a young boy, 14-year-old boy that's been dealing with an abusive father and trying to protect his younger brother from the abusive father. And Belle gets attracted to the beast during the concert. He interrupts, or at least curious, because I feel like we're supposed to believe there's attraction there, but I didn't think that it hit well enough. They didn't explain it well enough. They go through literally Beauty and the Beast, go to the castle, get yelled at by the Beast, say, no, I'm going to stay and help you do a song and dance in the ballroom. And then, of course, she leaves. Beast gets beaten down. She comes back. That's where they find out through the stream. She reveals herself and says, hey, let me back up there a second. They see the kids getting abused during a stream when they're trying to figure out who the dragon is, who the beast is. She reveals herself in you to, say, here, look, trust me, I want to help you. So here's who I really am. This world famous Belle, this super shy, plain, quote unquote, plain Jane girl is Belle. And it works to a degree. She has to go over to Tokyo, confront the dad, which I'm guessing he freaked out because he saw a little girl protecting his boys and was almost hitting and cut the face of a little girl. But again, they don't explain as much. But dad gets scared. She returns home, has a bit better life, and end of the primary story. There's a lot of good stuff in all of that just kind of, to me, got muddled up in some of the things. Did I miss any big parts of the general story before we go into like the themes and characters and stuff, Christine?
Oh, I wanted to defend the Beauty and the Beast part of it.
Oh, you'll get
we'll
get there,
because it's like there's
there.
some things I think you missed the mark on, but I'll explain later.
We'll get to that. Brian, was there any points that I missed, big story wise?
No, because I want to talk theme in terms of the biggest threat in this world is doxing, basically.
Yeah.
And I thought that was an interesting idea, but we can get into that.
Well, so bullying is one of the themes in here to a degree. You've got a young female character that's got some insecurities. Definitely has even mentions at the beginning when her friend kind of throws some shade at her. Could you not let your insults hit so hard? Like, could pull your punches, damn it. And you deal with you see the stuff with the kids, abuse and bullying, because parents can be bullies. His, of course, were straight up abusive, but there are parents that aren't necessarily abusive, but they're kind of bullying their kids to do, to try harder here or do this sport instead of that activity.
It's a form of abuse, but it's not as extreme, because there is like a spectrum of it.
Exactly. So, and then one of the other big themes of course being grief processing. How does one process grief, and what is healthy, what isn't healthy is kind of touched on. And with all of that, there's subgroups, like how people respond to abuse or bullying. The dragon goes into the virtual world and releases his anger in such a way that it breaks the game. Apparently, they talk about how it shuts down fights, and Belle goes in there to sing, and doxing is a real threat. Like, literally, the idea of revealing your true self, which comes with a whole list of things, is one of the quote unquote bad guy characters, Justin, who's got a beam that can unveil people and reveal who they really are. Brian, you kind of brought up that you wanted to touch on that one, so go ahead, dude.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that in this world that is the main threat. Everybody's terrified of the idea, so much so that the enforcement in that world, which I thought was interestingly backed up by sponsors.
Yes, I love that.
There, like you were saying earlier, there's like 30 ideas sort of all revolving around this film, it almost felt like a summer blockbuster. Like, this is a film made as this big film, but it had a lot of deep ideas in it. And the doxing thing was interesting because it was the weapon. That's how you hurt somebody. I'm going to tell them who you really are.
Yeah.
And then I like how that was flipped, the way it was in the end, where you have two characters that need to connect on an emotional level, that he needs to trust her. And so the idea is, I have to show you who I really am. So to me, that theme, that sort of arc, I thought was really well done. And I was very impressed at that moment. But
yeah, I like that because one thing about the internet, and even here, doing these shows, there's a certain entertainment aspect to it. Not much. I am very much the way I am on here, but I do, for certain shows or for certain purposes, I do have kind of an extra Kyle persona, if you will. But a lot of people, they'll say this is real me all day long online because that feels good, but it's not. And the idea of truly being revealed, not just addresses and stuff, which is a real threat and a real issue, but and they even kind of show you how it's a little exaggerated on how easy it was, but how you can take what you can see outside someone's window and find out where they live. Where if you hear sounds, if you've got a place that plays certain sounds every day, think of military bugle calls. There's some of us that would hear that in the background of a video and be like, fuck, they're on a military base.
Yeah.
So I like how they do that, but people are truly afraid to really be seen. Like that is Suzu's like worst fear, being unveiled as this plain Jane girl from, she gets called a country bumpkin by her own friend.
She's used to hiding, she doesn't, want all eyes on her. She likes, being under the radar. It's where she's been living for so long. So to take away that comfort of, people's eyes looking away and not seeing her, it would be very frightening, especially with it being the whole world.
Yeah, she's got what they say at one point, like hundreds of millions of followers, and she's going to have like 5 billion people viewing her or something like that. It's a big deal. It's a pretty big deal. Christine, what do you I mean, you kind of just said some stuff on it, but you want to elaborate any on doxing being unveiled and the aspects of bullying and abuse here before we talk some grief processing?
There's not really much else to say. I mean, you do want to protect your identity on the internet, and they aren't the police. They kind of act like, oh yeah, we're here to protect you, but it's like, no, they aren't. So it's like, even like with our internet world, there's no cops. There's no one to, it's just, you can report all you can, but I mean, there's only so much you can do, especially with it being different countries involved. So there isn't a big safety. So it's like them just towering over everyone and, being tyrants.
Yeah. Exactly. That is pretty creepy. Now, one of the big other aspects of this show, we mentioned Suzu's got trauma. Her mom died. Her mom died rescuing a small child during a flood, sacrificing her own life and
at a tender age too.
Yeah, she was real young, and there is where Shinobu stops her from walking into the flood waters when her mom doesn't come back, as all the other adults are taking care of the rescued kid. It's just a glimpse that we see of that, and it's interesting. It's interesting to watch someone go through grief. All three of us here have lost at least grandparents. All three of us still do have our parents, but we've also lost additional family members and friends, even comrades, military. Christine was in school. Brian and I know the kid and his family, but Christine actually went with a kid at Fort Campbell High School who died
shortly
during
after
the
we
wars.
graduated. Yeah.
So grief processing, Christine, is this a great movie to watch to kind of get a feel, a look at that? And what do you think about their take on it?
Yeah. It was it was great for her to be in a space to where she could wear a mask being in the virtual world. You know, and it's like just all of a sudden she could, because it's like even if eyes are on her, they're not directly on her. And so it was just kind of like a great outlet for her. And throughout all of what she experienced, you know, she got stronger and, you know, just kind of broke free from that. And I liked how the people around her just let her grieve. Although it was really hard listening to, you know, like listening to her listen to people judge her mom for saving someone. But it's like you've got all these people standing around and no one is working as a team to save this child. And it's like, you know, as a mother, it'd be like, I'm jumping right in, you know, because I would hate, you know, to see another parent have to bury their child.
Especially if you know, because there's even a line in there where I think one of the parents says, strong swimmer or not, you can't go in there. If you know you've got a talent and you could potentially assist, most people are going to do it. Almost every American I know, and I say American because I can only speak about our own culture and stuff like that, but most Americans I know would have went in for the kid, and especially anyone that had any swimming experience would have been in those waters.
We've seen like videos to where, you know, people are working as a group to try to help people.
Human chains and stuff.
Yeah, I've even experienced it where it's like it just kind of like snapped, and as soon as this major accident had happened on this road, even though no one was hurt, I'm like going to every car and I'm like, do you need help? You know, think I need to grab our med kit that we've packed up in our car. You know, it's like I'm ready to do it. It's like automatic for me and for a lot of other people. So it was just kind of like rough to have her hear all of that. So she shut down. And I like how her dad just let her be. It's like you push and it's not gonna work. So it's just like, I'm just gonna ask, hey, do you want some dinner? No? Okay, I can get this. No? Okay. And, you know, just kind of let her do her thing, and instead of trying to, you know, squeeze at her, get better, you know, because that doesn't work. So, yeah.
And Shinobu, he's very similar.
Yeah,
you know,
that
I'm
too.
gonna be here for you if you need it. And he's like very, very relieved when he's like, okay, good. You don't, at the end where he's like, you don't need me anymore. That's great, because I really just want to be your friend
Instead of your mom, like,
Yeah.
like how they had said that. But yeah, it was just funny. Like even with him, because of his immaturity, like of course when he grabbed her hand, he's like trying to push. But with the dad, he's got that maturity to where he knows I have to back off. So
He's also a teenage boy that's tired of playing a role.
Exactly.
You know?
Instead of enjoying his childhood.
And that's fine. And you know, before I get to Brian, I do want to take a quick break for our sponsors, because Brian and I reviewed a series that had one of the best grief processing arcs ever early last year, Dyna Xenon. But before then, Grow Generation ad right now.
Grow Generation, where the pros go to grow. The Grow Generation commercial team is armed with industry-leading professional consultants. Grow Generation's team will help you fully manage any size or scale project. They offer turnkey facility designs, cultivation room design, and on-site project consultation. Go to www.growgeneration.com, where the pros go to grow.
Yes.
And thank you guys so much for sponsoring the episode, Grow Generation. Links down below. You heard the ad. I'm not gonna repeat that stuff. So I mentioned the other show, Brian. Dyna Xenon absolutely has one of the best grief processing arcs, dealing with a sister left behind after her older sister dies unexpectedly and potentially by suicide. I'm not gonna ruin anything for everyone here, but and even the predecessor series to a degree deals with aspects of some of the stuff we've seen in here, with the character of Akane being, you know, feeling like an outsider and things like that. Brian, kind of your take on that, and kind of comparing to other things that you've seen with this subject matter in anime.
Well, the thing about this film that I thought initially it was bugging me when she goes to the beasts to save him, essentially, because it bugged me. Why did she go by herself?
Yeah.
You know, you had this huge group of people. She gets on the train, they drive her there, they're guiding her, and then I realized, okay, there's more symbology here. It is a part.
Nice Boondock Saints reference there, Brian. Hey, I got to make an S-Mart reference at the dispensary the other day, and she set me up, and she's like, so great that I got it. Anyways, continue.
But she was taken there. This was all part of her also solving her grief, because when she got back, you saw the interaction with her and her father.
Yeah,
that had sort of been fixed. What was happening was, you know, the trauma of losing her mother. Part of that was her mother sacrificing herself for someone, for a kid in need. She did the same. She went on her own. She went to save these kids. She put her life at risk. She bled for them. She, you know, there was a lot going on there that was more than just sort of the story being told. It was deeper than just what you were being shown. And once I started watching that, and I started thinking about it and thinking of the themes, because I knew we would discuss them, that was something that I initially was bugging me, and then I was like, oh, okay, I think I get it. And so, yeah, childhood trauma it's a real thing, man. Everybody has it on some level, and this did, I think, a good job of sort of exploring it as far as those two characters were concerned. I think that was one of the strongest things about the film, as a matter of fact, was the childhood trauma, which I didn't go into the film expecting at all.
No, neither did I.
I spoiled it, so I already knew.
Yeah, that was. I mean, the whole tone when they're watching the video footage of the two boys,
it's
and I'm
disturbing.
like, oh my god, yeah, it completely changes the whole film until the end.
It's like those back in the early wild days of the internet, where Brian will remember. It was like the discovering those what they call wrecked threads on stuff these days, or at least that's what they used to call it in like the mid 2000s and late 2010s, where you see real life death and shock and horrible accidents and stuff like that. Seeing that for the first time, it's dreadful, it's weird, it's unsettling, unnerving. And this whole scene, you're seeing people see something they have potentially never ever seen before, and they do a really good job at showing that, and that uneasiness and the shock and just it's a disturbing scene.
Yeah, and it's obvious that they have never seen it, but even those who have, it would be, you know, probably even more upsetting, because it would trigger their memories and stuff.
Every time I see some poor kid getting, you know, not necessarily abused, but potentially even towing that line, though I have seen a couple of actual abuse cases and stepped in public and called the police in one case, and in the other it was just verbal stuff, and all I could really do was, you know, bring attention to the store. But every time you see something, it's like, dear God, you want to do something, but it's still unsettling, unnerving, and even more so as a parent. And I know Brian's not a parent, but Brian works with kids and has definitely got an attachment to not just the kids in his care, but youth and the fact that they need protection. I mean, you don't have to go into any of it, but you and I both know, because we've lived in the community. I've seen the reports on the other side. Brian's had to deal with kids that have been through this and worse, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So
yeah,
it
did a good job of handling that, because you go from because it's all okay, we're in this virtual space where we're looking through a screen, or I like the tech where it's sort of the earpiece, and you know, you just see where you are. But anyways, the whole time, even when they're in danger by Justin, it's still this fantasy sort of world that's fun, and then they slap you with reality really hard, and at the very end. And like I said, I thought the transition was really well done, and I didn't see it coming. Yeah, I didn't expect that was going to be the story.
Yeah, the third act really kind of made me more angry at the second act, and I mean, it really did.
So the Beauty and the Beast stuff.
Okay.
Go into what bugs you.
You want to go
Yes.
into it now? Okay, so here's
and then I'll defend it.
Here's what really bugs me about it. I was prepared for it, and I was even looking forward to their take on it within this, using a digital realm and this mysterious dragon beast creature, which is a real, how do you connect the idea of a curse and all of that. I'm not a fan of musicals, but I was interested in this. One thing the music here we'll get into later. It's not really a musical, but there are music settings of course. But and they use that in here to its benefit. But they set it up in the trailers. And with the title, the character being Belle, it's got a different title in Japan. Something about freckled princess. And so you get prepared for that, and then the first act barely touches on any of those elements outside of setting up pretty girl, ugly beast, and pretty girl is intrigued by ugly beast. Act 2 is really just her getting to the castle, the stuff that happens in the castle up until she leaves, and then they start doing the investigation to find out who he is, and that's where they stumble upon everything else, and that is all great. But what happens is, from the time he breaks into the dome, which is fine, the fight scene and the stuff in the dome, the exposition is fine, but from there forward, it's literally nothing but certain scenes from Disney's Beauty and the Beast extended out, walking through the forest to get to the beast, encountering the beast and the weird things in the castle, getting yelled at by the beast. But none of the points really hit because we haven't explored any of the characters yet. We haven't really gotten to see anything of her in intrigue or what, because in the at least in the Disney cartoon, you have her going after her father. She's got a vested interest in this. There's nothing that connects there. And then we quickly go from I'm intrigued to I'm in love. We do the whole ballroom scene, which beautiful animation, great song. I'm not picking at any of that, and I'm not picking at the usage of it, just the execution. And then we see this, her go in for a kiss, which again, in my mind, during this whole time, from just the arena to this kiss where he kind of fades away, and then I was like, wait, is this someone that's not interested? I even was like, is this her dad lashing out? Like, is this him internalizing things, and that's why he's kind of backed off? Maybe he knows something.
There was a second that popped in my mind.
And then
okay,
so that's my biggest issue. This is set in there, and they really do. They shove the majority of Disney's version of Beauty and the Beast into the second act, but they don't utilize it to its potential. And then when you get to Act 3, like, if the rest of the movie had played out, we might be having a bit of a different conversation about it. But Act 3, actually, other than a few, like, real world things where I'm like, hold on, cops, someone's calling you about an active assault and you're saying for 48 hours. Like, I'd get it. I get the part where the boy's like, we've asked for help and nobody does shit. That's true. That happens all the time. But still, when you call 911 for an active assault, they have to go over there.
At least in this country it is. It's like, even if it's dialed by accident, they're going to show up, and just in case, because they've had cases to where it's like, oh, it's a false alarm, but actually it wasn't.
So other than a few of those, like, real world things, like Brian brought up the train, but there's additional things to think about. Act 3 just made me very, very angry about Act 2 feeling so out of place and underutilized. Like, that's where I feel that, and some of the beginning shots, because there's some time jumps, and they show you later on about, like, where the whales are, where she's in the red dress, and they try to do a Tarantino thing, but when all comes down to it, there's big chunks of this, and especially that second act, where it's just Hosoda showing off the visuals that he had in mind, and it just didn't deliver on the story elements that I think it wanted to tell. So, did I explain everything before Christine comes at the
yes,
points?
Yes, because I'm
Brian,
dying to talk.
I know she's dying.
What was
I got
there?
one quick
Okay.
line, and then Christine, it's all
Okay,
you.
go ahead.
She was attracted to the trauma and the pain of the beast. She was hyper focused on the bruises.
That's what intrigued her. Yes,
and that's what intrigued her, and that's what pulled her in, and she could tell he was in pain. So to me, that was the idea. I'm assuming, if you watch Beauty and the Beast, that's a big part of it. The beast suffering and all that, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so I think that's why it was there. And yes, I agree, there was a lot of it for just show, and it'll look really cool on an IMAX screen. But for me, it worked, and
Mm-hmm.
I understand what you're saying. Is it did come out of sort of nowhere in the second act, and it was like, okay, highlight these scenes, and then bam, the third act sort of abandoned it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Like I said, summer blockbuster. I don't know. It didn't bother me. I'm a huge fan of Beauty and the Beast, so
Yeah,
there you
me
go.
too.
Yeah, and yeah, Christine, go ahead and tell me how I'm right.
Shut up. No. They hinted before all of that sometime during all of that, where the singing ladies in the gym were talking. She was talking about how she was in Ohio and she wrote a love song for someone, but it was for an 8-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like there was no love there, but it was still like a sweet moment kind of thing. So it didn't have to lead anywhere, but it's just a nice little moment. So with you and the romance part, that is how I saw it, whereas like it could lead that way, but you don't quite know just yet. I thought that Kei was older, and I thought that Suzu was just a little bit younger. I thought she was older, but not by as much as it was. But let me see. Like, so you had a lot that you said. So she sees it because she is her mother's daughter. She may not realize it yet, but it's already like in her brain that she's going to lock in on that and try to help. So she sees, everyone's judging the beast when he breaks through and ruins her concert, but she sees someone being chased. She sees bruises. So she wants to investigate, and she doesn't want to give up. She wants to help.
I'm good with all of that.
Yeah, but you were just kind of like, all of a sudden she was like...
It's everything after that. Like I said, she's intrigued. I get intrigued.
Yeah.
But how do we go from intrigued to letting me... I want to
bond
kiss...
through pain. Yes.
But it happens so quickly. We have no like judge of time. Literally, we don't see her come out. It's all from the time she gets into the castle to the time where they come down from the dance.
Caught in the moment, or like there was even a soldier that we knew when we were in Georgia. He had said that like he had met his wife. Like as soon as he saw her, he's like, "I'm marrying that girl."
Yeah.
And sadly, it didn't work out for him. But I mean,
yeah,
he
she
did
was in a
marry her.
magical castle, man. That's all
and
you
it's
need.
the thing is, it's like the castle was, the boy's place to escape. There was destruction, of course. She sees the pain of that. She doesn't want to give up. But time is running out. That's another Beauty and the Beast. There's no wilting flower and
just
petals
a deadly
coming off.
dad.
Well, that, and then also, everyone's trying to chase him and try to find out his identity. So there is a rush on time.
Mm-hmm.
The dance didn't bother me. It was like, I don't know, just a sweet moment, but then it's like he didn't want to kiss.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, oh, that's fine.
Yeah.
But, she was bonding with him
Mm-hmm.
and was very attached to both boys. And then, of course, everything gets destroyed. But, of course, it's not the end of it. There's still more to come. But, yeah, I don't know if there was anything else that you had said. Because, like, every time I had a point, like, you kept going. So I'm, like, trying to...
Sorry, I was trying to get it all out.
Yeah,
at once.
but I couldn't like respond to everything. But to me, it worked.
Yeah, I guess I just wanted, like I said, especially after the third act, I'm like, you guys could have done so much more, and that's where like my problem is. It's the execution. It's not necessarily the content at all. It's the execution. Like I said, I buy intrigue. I don't buy the deep feelings growing so quick without some sort of grasp of time. Like when we see Belle, we see her go from intrigued by the beast and his hurt and his anger and the curse and all of that, but she actually gets to know him and fall for him well before the ballroom scene through living there, helping take care of things, talking with the others. There's growth, and there's a sense of time passing.
Yeah.
So it just all comes down to execution for me. So much so that I figured pretty quickly that Shinobu was likely not the dragon. That's a misdirection. And I was like, who else could it be? And I started thinking about, female friends. I thought Ruka would be a possibility, because they mentioned about anger and lashing out. And again, she's this popular girl. You could see we've all known females that have the weight of having been smart or popular, pretty talented, having a mom or a dad push them to do it more and more and more. Japan's got that like across the board. So like all of those thoughts are going through my mind now because of the execution. I'm not seeing this as it's a teenage boy, whether it's her age, little older, little younger. I'm not seeing that trajectory because of the execution. And that's when a movie goes from like, there's bad storytelling, and then there's like poor execution of story.
Well, I mean, they did have like at the beginning where they showed a clip of the father speaking, and you can see the body language of the children where it's like something's wrong there. And the father's like, oh yeah, we're happy, and I'm like, really? Because one looks terrified and the other one looks angry and can't even look at the camera. Like, he's like, my dad's touching me, I don't like it, kind of thing. So like they had shown like at the beginning who it was, but you can't know that at the time.
Yeah, and to be fair, they show Kay, who looking very, very emo. So I don't like having my picture taken. I'm saying in that just that beginning scene, like that quick clip that you see of the dad and the two boys, until it's called back to in context. Like you said, you wouldn't notice it. I'm
until,
pointing out like
later on, it's like, oh,
you see an emo kid technically looking upset on photo. I'm not necessarily
I would just go with angsty.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You're not necessarily going to go straight to abuse until you look at the other kid being scared and things like that. But my eyes were drawn to things that I recognize, which is emo kid, scene kid. Yeah, when you just see the video there at the beginning, because as soon as you see the young boy in the video later on, it calls back in your mind. But yeah, I don't know, Brian. Anything else you want to say about Act 2 before we talk more about some of these characters?
Not really. As far as that, like you, I was trying to figure out who he is. Who's the beast? Is it someone in her circle? And then it got to a point where clearly it wasn't. And then I started thinking, well, if it had been, would that have been more annoying? It just so happened that the two people from the same little town were these two figures. So, I guess, go ahead.
The fact that she can recognize like something's up, she would have seen that from her peers, I think, where she's got an eye
maybe
for that
trauma and stuff. Yeah, maybe. I'm fine with it being the kid in Tokyo. It's a bit of a reach for her to get out there, but like Brian said, it's a little bit more metaphorical. But yeah.
Yeah, because definitely our fathers. Our mothers would have been pissed, but like I know my dad would have been like, you left the city by yourself at this age? I'm going to kill you.
No, I'm not talking about going to Kentucky and
I know,
New York,
you went
Georgia.
You like as a minor went all the way to New York, and your parents didn't even know until you
don't get brought home by the cops, and make sure you pass grades. keep your grades up. Those are my rules.
Oh no, I was.
If you don't get caught, you didn't do anything.
I had a magnifying glass on me, so it was like I couldn't do anything wrong.
Oh man! All right, well, let's chit chat about some of these characters here that we haven't gotten to talk too much about. We've mentioned Suzu and Kei. Shinobu is the distraction here. He's the misdirection. You're supposed to be looking at him as this protective character because the beast, the dragon, protects her, and you want a couple of times, so to speak. One time overtly outright. But I dug how they didn't use him, and while they do dangle him as misdirection, it's not so much that it became annoying when it wasn't him. Does that make sense? He's a kind of a bland character there to serve a very, very specific purpose and deliver a funny line at the end. Good. I'm tired of doing this shit. I want to be your friend instead. Anyone got any issues, comments on the Shinobu character's use?
I figured that he wouldn't be. Like, he was just used as a different way, not as misdirection, because it would be out of character for him to be like, go away, leave me alone, because, like, he's been mothering her. So I don't think he would have treated her like that in you.
I think that's what the whole thing about the real inside you will come out. So you don't know what everyone's going through. That's why but maybe you're right. Maybe it wasn't meant to be misdirection. Brian, do you think he was maybe a little bit of both, one or the other?
I took it as he could be the one, but I was thinking that'd be lame if he was.
Yeah.
And that was, one of my thoughts. But I like how at the very end, it doesn't completely say, hey, she's going to be in a relationship with this person or this person.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like, you know what? These are people she's close to now.
Yeah.
That's not the story.
Nope.
And so I thought that was interesting by the end that they sort of did it that way. And yeah, as far as that character, it was fine. But going back to one of my minor complaints is the best stuff was outside the view. And was it the train station scene? That's one of the best scenes in the whole movie, when the guy comes in and he's like, oh, are you into me?
Canoe guy.
It's the scene slows everything
Kamishin.
Down. There's moments
Kamishin.
where they're just sort of standing there looking. It was very awkward. It was very teenage drama. I loved that whole sequence, and I wanted more of that. But once I saw that, I was like, damn, I wanted a little bit more of that with these characters. But yeah, no, I thought he was fine for his purpose.
Yeah, I mean, they had a little bit of teen drama, but yeah, like a little more would have been nice, because like all the girls finding out that Shinobu had taken her hand, and it was like, yeah, the way that they just lashed out at her, and it's like, that's mean, and so it's like she's having to like, no, that's not, like, please stop.
Yeah.
Like ruining that, oh my god, eyes are on me kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, and that scene real quick, that was very much like showing you that in today's world, and this is just the reality, you exist in the real world and the virtual space.
Yes.
And and here's someone who, you're right, a guy touched her hand, and now all of a sudden she's having to deal with it in this virtual space to calm it down, and just sort of that balancing act. And I liked how it was presented.
I love the mobile gaming
that was great
setup. That was look, Hosoda's got a great eye for doing these really cool takes on things, especially using the digital worlds and Summer Wars. I wasn't a Digimon fan, but everyone seems to love that movie, so it wasn't my thing. But I like it. It was great. Yeah, I dug that part. We mentioned, Brian brought up the interesting scene, and Brian, I think it's like a 25-minute timer on your camera. You might be.
I've already reset.
Oh, okay, cool. Trying to keep things to help everyone out. But Kamishin, he's the canoe guy. We meet him early on, and I even wondered if maybe he might have issues when they were like doing the search for the dragon, because you start looking for trauma and signs of trauma. And again, if you guys notice, I keep going back to that idea of parents that push their kids too hard, too far. I've said that about multiple characters wondering, and that is a thing that happens in Japanese culture. You hear about it firsthand, and of course we see things second, third hand, hear stories third hand. But he's just this goofy kid trying to get people to join canoeing, which is something he loves to do on his own. Competes, is badass at it. Going to go to nationals later on, but he just serves as this great break of tension, and in a couple of key moments, while creating one of the best comedic tensions in the trains scene. Ruka, the popular girl, actually has a crush on Kamishin, but Suzu thinks she's got a crush on Shinobu. Suzu agrees to help Ruka. Ruka confesses who feelings are really about. Suzu tries to play matchmaker, but man, they're so uncomfortable around each other. The animators just left Ruka with her face covered, while very goofily anime style having Kamishin go back and forth while Suzu has to keep.
It's like he's trying to flee, and then she's like, "No, you're coming back." Encouragement,
and it's just this. It's those moments of. I mean, hell, I know I encouraged a friend to go talk to a girl he liked in like middle school. By high school, we didn't do that stuff. But, and I know girls are constantly, at least on TV. Now, even you and Courtney and your friends would talk and boost each other or others in your group to
Courtney's
go talk
done
to
that
a
to
boy.
me
And
3 times, where it's like, go, come on.
Yeah, so it's like an exaggeration on real life things, and it's just so adorable. And again, I like the kind of subverting my expectations jammer, or where it works, where the popular girl isn't a bitch. She's not after the same boy, which is all these tropes that you expect to see. And I dug all of those little that little group of characters. Before we can chit chat about the friend and any others, Christine, anything you want to say on that scene and group of people?
It was very much like high school, where there's at least one character where, they're kind of, not popular, but like goofy, like I've seen that happen sometimes, to where it's just like, of course they'll still have friends and stuff, but it's just like some people are kind of like, you're a little much. So I liked how that was, where he's like, come on, join my club. Let's all go canoeing. And they're like, nah, man, you need to... Here, have an Adderall.
Brian, you said you really love the scene. Want to elaborate or no?
That was about it. I do love the fact that he was all about canoeing, and if you look at that area, it was prime area for canoeing, and yet nobody else was interested.
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought it was a funny little quirk with
that. Might even be a throw at the hey, get off the internet and get outdoors type thing.
Because he's just like, come on, guys. And then when you see him doing it, you're like, wow, that is a very perfect area for that. And I thought it was funny that
they had city canoes and rivers.
He was all about
wild
it.
And
I don't think it was the water. I think it was just him, where they're just like, I kind of don't want to be in a club with you. So
that's such I do like, and I'm guessing it's common enough. The idea of such broad clubs offered in Japan. Basically, if you can get a group of people to get together and get a sponsor, you can have a club. Often in U.S. public schools, it can be a lot more difficult. But I like that. We've seen a lot of anime start off with a lead character or supporting character trying to get a club off the ground that, they got to get a certain amount of students. And it's a fun thing to see, not executed in that same way. And he's so nonchalant about things until the little romance scene at the train. The only other main supporting cast to talk about that gets a name is Hiro, the female friend of Suzu, who helps develop the Belle persona, who is there to give her a good beat down at the beginning, and
Yeah.
and also to learn a couple lessons of her own along the way about not being a maniac on the internet. But anyone got anything to really bring up about her?
Yeah, I liked how she, with her friend Suzu, she was like, "All right, it's time to blossom. We've got this. I'm gonna take care of you. You're gonna do this. You're gonna shine, and feel good about yourself. Have some happiness in your life." Yeah, and then also like she was one of the people that had judged the Beast at the beginning, and then like in the end, she's trying to help him out, and so I thought that was nice. Where it's like, you shouldn't judge.
Yeah,
you don't know what's going on.
She definitely goes into a very beloved female maniac trope when she's sitting there talking all that smack down in like the crossroads area of you and stuff. Brian, what'd you think of the Hiro character?
She was interesting. That's someone that I would have liked a little more with, because she was more worried about other people's lives than her own, which I thought was an interesting thing, because she, there was that moment where she was freaking out about losing Belle. The idea of, you can't expose your identity, that'll destroy everything.
Everything
and
we
it's like
worked for. I think she said.
Exactly,
yeah.
and she was very obsessive with the idea that that this was a part of her now as well, and it's like it's not.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting. They wrapped that up pretty quickly, but that would have been something that would have been nice to see a little more exploration with. But she served, as far as the character, she served her purpose, and she had a few funny moments.
Yeah, like when she when her parents walk in on her at
That was
her computer, and they're like, "Yeah, you're done here now." That was funny.
I did dig that,
Yeah.
and we couldn't wrap up an anime review without talking about the music and the art, and especially this movie where music is such a key part. We'll go ahead and chit chat about that first. I like the majority of the songs all throughout. The background music is amazing. There's some songs I like more than others, but my biggest praise for the music is it wasn't just one style. It wasn't top 40 pops style. It wasn't a traditional power ballad. It varied, and the singer did a wonderful job. We watched it in sub, and I highly suggest everyone watch this movie in subtitle at least once, preferably before you watch the dub, if for no other reason than the music fits. You get subtitled lyrics, which most people want to hear the lyrics that they can understand for context. Yes, it's more reading, but I pretend to be a musician before the accident and not being able to play for the last few. Anyways, but there is a structure to music, and both the lyrics themselves and the vocalist are included in the structures of those songs when they're composed. Translations, localizations do not allow for the same mechanics, the same flows of where inflections are built in, and anyone that's ever seen behind the scenes of music production, while they demo these songs, they record multiple versions before they settle on something in it, and it deals with things like, hey, change an inflection here, bring this up or down octaves there. So all of that goes into the fact that even if you don't understand the lyrics, what's being said in a song, it's going to actually sound better in its native language than translated. After that, dubs are so good these days. So many voice actors have got the style and tone and delivery of anime. They're no longer approaching them, and they haven't for decades now, but they're not approaching it as a American voice actor or English voice actor doing Western style with a Japanese cartoon. So I love dubs for the most part, but if for no other reason, the music here is a reason to see this in dub. Brian, agree, disagree, and what do you say about the music?
Agree. Yeah, The music is just right. There's not too much of it. Like you said, I'm not a big musical fan. And there was a moment where I was wondering how much was going to be in this. The songs were used perfectly. They were used at the right moments.
Like the love song on the
last
Riverside.
one was very powerful. I could imagine seeing that on an IMAX screen and choking up a little bit and tearing up. It was very well done, and it really tries its best. It was designed to try and dig into the audience and pull out an emotion, and I think it does a good job of that. So yeah, the music was very well done.
Christine, you've been listening to the soundtrack since you could scrounge together scenes on YouTube. What do you think about it?
The music's very, very rich, all of it. I enjoyed the hell out of it repeatedly. And I do love the actor. I had to pull it up just so I could remember her name. Kaho Nakamura. The emotion that she put in it was absolutely perfect. And definitely good use of music. Didn't overdo it. I guess that's about it. I mean, y'all said it, the other parts.
Yeah, it's great. Do you agree? I know you do agree, but can you go ahead and tell them that you agree with sub music?
Definitely. Definitely. We've talked about that before, where it's just like you hear it, and I've heard one of the songs that's in this, like just a piece of it in English, like from a trailer or something, and I'm just like, yeah, that doesn't work.
No, just
it
mechanically. Mechanically.
Yeah, it does. It's uncomfortable.
And I listened to vice versa localizations. I heard an English song localized into Japanese. Same thing. Mechanically, it suffers.
Yeah.
So take that for what you will. Now let's dig into the art just a bit before we wrap things up with grading. This is obviously, like Brian pointed out, I pointed out, designed to show off certain scenes in an IMAX setting, and the movie is being released January 14th at standard and premium theaters, including IMAX, and they're advertising IMAX, and I kind of really want to go give it another look in IMAX, because this is there's moments where the CGI in the stream, the streaming screener that we got from the studios and their reps, but it suffers a bit. It's gorgeous looking though, isn't it, Brian?
Yeah, and it's gorgeous. Even there's the shots of that's not in the U when she's just walking across the bridge, and you see the water, and you see her at home, and you just see little details at the house, maybe a bucket in the corner, stuff like that. Everything it's every frame of this could be a poster on a wall. It's that beautiful. And then yes, you have the burning castle. That visually, that's just amazing.
Yeah.
Did you get some Kingdom Heart vibes there from
I did. Yeah. I absolutely did. Completely. So yeah, visually, all that.
My Castle Oblivion? What the fuck?
It's great. Yeah. This on if you go see it on an IMAX screen, absolutely. That I think is the way to experience this.
Yeah, Christine, or are we gonna go to our Fomax and see this in higher quality?
Yes, we are. Okay. Even if I have to see it without you, I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, bright, vibrant. All the details. I loved like them magicking their clothes. I loved Belle's outfits. A lot of them were just really pretty. And there was just one with the crystal thing on her head. I was like, I don't really like that one, but the other ones are gorgeous. But yeah, and then of course, like all the characters and their details. It was really cool. Yeah.
It's stunning. We've all said it, and if you watch past episodes of Anime-Versal reviews on the Genreverse podcast network, brought to you by LRM Online, like, share, and subscribe. All see, I'm doing some housekeeping while I'm still chit chatting, but we always talk about these last two things, whether it's a show or a movie, because they are so often important. Background music, while there's been many shows or movies where we've said, yeah, it's serviceable. It serves its purpose. It's nothing stand out like, say, a banging OP like Flyers by Bradio for Death Parade. But if music can make or break scenes, like I think now I just reviewed Daredevil 2003 with Nick for Marvel Multiverse Mayhem, and I talked about how awful it is to hear theme songs in these old movies from the 90s and early 2000s. How great it was to get refreshing breath of non there's a hero among us theme songs when the MCU kicked off. Sure, you had the AC/DC stuff for Iron Man, but the other Phase 1 movies until you get to Avengers, they didn't do that. Sony still thinks there needs to be theme songs for a lot of their movies, Ghostbusters, Venom, and shit. But music is just so important, and I love being able to kind of still talk about all these things, compare art, compare music, and yeah, it's just great to be a fan of anime these days, isn't it, guys?
Yeah,
we are awash in a shit ton of talent that ranges from passable to fucking amazing, and Makoto Shinkai is working on something else. I saw some early like concept art that he was publishing in a book or something like that, including something for an upcoming project. And he's one of the modern people always want to say the next Miyazaki, but I just consider them contemporaries. Hosoda, was actually supposed to work on Spirited Away, if I'm not mistaken. Wasn't it, Brian? Was it Spirited Away?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember, but he was supposed to work on one.
He's beyond.
Yeah.
He's the next. No, he is the.
He's a contemporary. Shinkai,
yeah, he's
Hosoda,
one of the guys,
absolutely. And there's more out there, but yeah, guys, I don't have anything else to say, but let's grade it. So
I had one thing.
Oh, go ahead, Christine.
I mean, I liked that there was just a small growth with the character Peggy Sue, but we didn't get anything from her very much. And then I wanted to find out who she was. Like, she'd mentioned, like, oh, she's Belle's a
plain
kid,
girl like me.
Yeah, a kid like me, just a teenager. So I was like, when she said that, I'm like, okay, well, now I want to know who you are, So there was that I had issue with.
Were there any other gripes of the movie that bring your score down, and then you can give your score, whatever it is?
I understood the character being in there a little bit, but that influencer mom thing where she looks like a baby, like, she got on my nerves. Yeah, she's so annoying. I like the scene where they're the friend Hiro, yeah, she's talking to her in near the end, and she's like, you look like a baby, and she's like, oh yes, childlike or youth or something like that. It's like, nah, girl, you're immature and a child. That's what that is. But yeah, like, did not like her at all. So yeah.
So what do you grade it?
A B plus.
Okay.
Yep.
I can hear that. Brian.
Same. B plus.
Cool. Kyle.
Sorry, guys. I really loved, really loved the third act, and it kind of ruins a big chunk of the movie from lack of execution. So I give it a C plus.
Oh.
Dang.
Yeah, I give it a C plus. I wanted to more, but there's just, and then like some of those real world issues, where even when you can explain some of it metaphorically, there's other aspects where you're just like, nah, man, this is you're in reality right now, and you're reaching, you're ignoring, you're stretching. That's what the virtual world's for, especially when you have the weight of Act 3. I
was
think
judging it off the other works, and for me, like Boy and the Beast, I'm a huge fan of that film, and so to me, that's like an A.
Yeah.
And so this, I didn't like this as much, but I enjoyed this a lot.
Have you seen Girl That Who Left
Yes.
3 times? So
yeah,
in my mind, I have not seen Mirai yet, and I didn't see Wolf Children, the previous two, but in my mind, Girl, Boy and Beast, Summer Wars are all, your top three. Digimon, like I said, it's not for me, so I'm not gonna, judge it harshly or anything like that. This was bottom tier of everything I've seen from him. I like all of those other movies way more. Boy and the Beast, Summer Wars, and what did I say? What was the third one I mentioned?
Girl Who Leapt Through the Time.
Yeah, those are
well,
all.
Those are high A's.
That's what I'm saying. So comparatively, this even suffers more. And I mean, Jammer, I think he said he gave it a C. Was it? Let me see, because Jammer had several of the same
Belle.
issues. Yeah, Belle.
Yeah.
He said it was.
I mean, look, everybody has different tastes,
Oh, yeah.
so that's completely fine. But yeah, for me, I don't know. It maybe it was just the time I watched it. It just, this is also something I would recommend to pretty much everyone.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a lot of people that will love it, obviously, like you two, more than I did. He gave it a D, actually.
Ooh.
He said third act was. Yeah.
Is he gonna?
I don't know. I know.
I'm just curious what
Jonesy is writing the piece, but I'll say a few things that he put out here. He said he thinks it's Hosoda's worst film yet by far. It was interesting in-world potential conflict that they decided not to focus on. It was weird. They said they really didn't address the protagonist's anxiety in any real way. I think they addressed it a little bit, but I could see where they could have done more. Maybe. The Beauty and the Beast shit was stupid and pointless. It made no sense. And also didn't buy the protagonist getting famous overnight. Way too easy. Like I said, there was a sense of time, but the fact that she was able to slip into it so easily, I had a hard time dealing with that's just by her being the real you inside you. It's like she still has to agree to go back into you when she's outside of it, and if you've got anxiety, that can affect it. I would have appreciated maybe some reluctance to go in and be Belle potentially, but what they're trying to talk about is what they're trying to talk about. I give it a D. Third act was interesting, but still kind of nonsensical. Like, what happens now, and why did the dad turn into a little bitch at the end? Like I said, I'm guessing he saw that he just scratched, ripped skin off of a girl, a teenage girl.
That's not his kid.
It's
not
someone
else's kid.
I'll give him that, but the whole what happens next, a lot of anime. A whole lot of anime doesn't tell. Leaves you with that. So that's sort of a thing. But
overall,
the father thing, I could see people being bothered by that scene.
If they would have explained, oh my God, you're a child, you're someone else's child. Oh my God, you're a girl. Well, whatever the case may be, whatever they wanted to go with, I think you needed something, because we're all sitting here wondering the same thing. We're assuming it's someone else's kid. It's another kid, and potentially if the dad is that type of belligerent, they usually come with some other stereotypes in a lot of these movie shows and stuff. So you start thinking, oh my God, you're a female girl or female child. That's, how could you stand up against, and you're standing up against the men, and so I can kind of see that. So,
I think also I'll have to rewatch the scene, because I don't quite remember exactly like how long it was until it, like, something had clicked for him, but it was just like maybe it took him a while for his anger to subside, because I know people out there where they'll lash out, but yet they still won't calm down. Like, it's still not enough to get them back to normal. And so it's like maybe just like that click of like, oh my God, I hurt someone else's kid, I'm in so much freaking trouble. So, that's what I took from it. It's like, yeah, you assaulted someone else's child. Yeah, you've been messing with yours and no one's done anything. And it's like, you're power slipping, dude.
Yeah.
You're in trouble now. So.
Well, everyone, please, I did a little bit of the housekeeping earlier. LRMonline.com, Genreverse.com. All of our social media information is down below as well. Christine, anything you want to plug on the podcast network? Any shows or anything?
No Mercy podcast.
Yes, should be out again on Thursday. The next 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I love that podcast so much. So yeah, look forward to that.
Yep. Brian, talk about your channel again.
Yeah, PulpMythos. I'm talking about shows like 1883 and Dexter.
All right, and you guys know what I do. I run this shit right here. We'll see what we're going to be talking about next week, and yeah, talk to you next time. Bye.